Bolívar's strategy had worked to perfection. The Royalist army was fractured, unable to support its own parts, fighting two battles and losing both.
Santander's men, including Mateo, are now on the bridge itself, fighting with bayonets and club muskets. The fighting is brutal, face-to-face, with no room to retreat.
The bridge had to be held. Every inch was paid for in blood, a testament to the raw courage of the Neo-Granadine soldiers fighting for their homeland.
Borrero desperately tries to rally his men. He forms a defensive square with his elite infantry, the king's own regiment. They fire disciplined volleys, a pocket of Spanish order in a sea of patriot chaos.
Borrero was a professional soldier. Even in disaster, his training took over. The Spanish square was a formidable obstacle, a bastion of defiance.
Bolívar directs a battle from a small rise, his face a mask of concentration. He sees the Spanish square. He turns and nods to the commander of the British Legion.
Major, your men, if you please.
It was time to break the last pillar of resistance. For this task, Bolívar turned to his most disciplined, and perhaps most ruthless soldiers.
The British Legion advances not at a run, but at a steady, menacing quick march. Their red coats are faded, but their bayonets gleam. An officer bellows,
Fix! Bayonets!
They moved like a machine of death. The veterans of Waterloo brought a cold, European lethality to this Andean valley, and their target was the heart of the Spanish line.
The Legion breaks into a charge. There's no wild screaming, only a low, guttural cheer. They hit the Spanish square like a battering ram.
Steel met steel. The disciplined volleys of the Spanish faltered against the cold, relentless pressure of the British bayonets.
The Royalist vanguard, seeing the main army collapsing behind them, finally breaks. They throw down their weapons and attempt to flee or surrender. Colonel Jimenez is captured, his face a picture of disbelief.
The first battle was won. Santander had fulfilled his task, securing the bridge and netting a high-value prisoner. The trap was now fully sprung.
The Spanish square shatters under the assault. Royalist soldiers, now leaderless and terrified, break and run in every direction. The Patriot Lancers, the famed Llaneros, cut them down as they flee.
The collapse was sudden and total. An army that had woken with confidence was now a terrified mob, hunted across the fields of Boyacá.
Colonel Borrero, his horse shot from under him, tries to hide behind a rock. He is spotted by a young soldier. It is Mateo, his face streaked with grime and gunpowder.
In the end, the fate of the great commander did not rest with generals, but with a boy from New Granada who had survived the Páramo. Mateo levels his musket at the Spanish colonel, his hands shaking but his gaze firm. Other soldiers surround them. Borrero, seeing the futility, unbuckles his sword and offers it, hilt first. There was no grand duel, only the quiet, profound moment of surrender. The pride of the Spanish Empire, handed over to a boy who represented the very people he had been sent to subjugate.
The fighting is over. The field is littered with the dead and dying, and the captured Royalist soldiers are rounded up into a massive, silent group. The Patriot flag is raised over the Casa de Teja.
In 2 hours it was done. An army of 3,400 Royalists had been effectively destroyed. 100 were dead, but 1,600 were prisoners, along with their commander and the entirety of their supplies.
Bolívar surveys the scene. There is no elation on his face, only a deep, weary, and profound sense of accomplishment. The setting sun catches the dust and smoke still hanging in the air.
This was the cost of freedom, and this was its reward. The beginning of the end for Spanish rule in northern South America.
Santander walks up to Bolívar and salutes crisply.
General, the victory is complete. Borrero is taken.
Bolívar clasps Santander's shoulder, a rare show of emotion.
You have saved the homeland today, General.
It was a victory for them all. For Bolívar's vision, Santander's tactics, Anzoátegui's courage, and the endurance of every soldier who crossed the Andes.
A terrified messenger, his horse lathered, bursts into the viceroy's party. He whispers the news to Juan de Samano.
Barrero's army destroyed. Captured. Bolívar marches for the city.
The news arrived in the capital like a cannonball. Party died. The music stopped. The insulated world of the Royalists shattered in an instant.
Panic. Viceroy Samano and his officials frantically load chests of gold and documents onto carriages. They flee the city in the dead of night. A coward's escape under the cover of darkness.
The government did not fall. It evaporated. With no army left to defend it, the symbol of Spanish power in New Granada fled for his life, abandoning the capital he had sworn to protect.
The gates of Santa Fe, modern-day Bogotá, are thrown open. Crowds pour into the streets, waving improvised flags and cheering. They throw flowers as Bolívar and his ragged, exhausted, but triumphant army march in.
3 days after the battle, the liberator entered the capital not as a conqueror, but as a son of New Granada. The city was his without a single shot fired.
Bolívar walks through the empty halls of power. He runs a hand over the viceroy's desk, a look of contemplation on his face. The dream was no longer a phantom on a frozen mountain. It was real, tangible, housed in these very walls.
He had chased a dream across a continent, and now he stood in the very heart of the power he had sought to overthrow. But he knew this was not the end. The victory at Boyacá was a catalyst. In December of 1819, the Congress of Angostura would officially declare the union of New Granada and Venezuela, creating the Republic of Colombia, the Gran Colombia of Bolívar's dreams.
Colonel Barrero sits in a dark cell, his pristine uniform now stained and torn. He stares at the wall, a man broken not by a superior force, but by an enemy he had fatally misunderstood.
For the vanquished, there was only the bitter reality of defeat. Barrero and 38 other captured Spanish officers would be executed, a grim postscript to the birth of the new nation. The site is now a shrine, a place of reverence where a nation remembers the 2 hours that secured its independence.
Mateo, now wearing a slightly better uniform of the new republic, stands guard outside the presidential palace. He looks out at the cheering crowds, a quiet pride on his young face. He is no longer a boy, but a founder.
The common soldier, the boy from the provinces, had become a guardian of the new republic. He and thousands like him were the foundation upon which it was built.
The light of Gran Colombia shines brightly. Arrows of future campaigns shoot out from it, south towards Ecuador and Peru, west towards Venezuela. The names Carabobo, Pichincha, Jun, Ayacucho appear.
Boyacá was not the final battle, but it was the most important. It was the key that unlocked the door to the liberation of a continent, setting in motion the victories that would finally drive the Spanish Empire from South America.
Bolívar stands before the map again. His finger traces a path south. His eyes still burn, not with the fever of the march, but with the fire of a dream only partially fulfilled.
For Bolívar, the war was far from over. New Granada was free, but his vision extended to the far reaches of the Andes. The fight would continue.
Boyacá Bridge, sunset. A final, beautiful shot of the stone bridge. The water of the Teatinos River flows peacefully beneath it. The light is golden and warm.
Structures of stone can bear witness to the most fleeting and violent of human passions. This bridge saw an empire crumble and a nation be born in a single afternoon.
High above the bridge, above the valley, showing the immense, magnificent, and eternal Andes. The battlefield is just a tiny speck in the vastness of the continent that was forever changed by the events there.
It was a battle won by will as much as by weapon, a testament to the idea that a determined few, driven by a powerful dream, can defy an empire and remake the world in their own image. This was the miracle of Boyacá,